Howdy folks, Haywire Willy here. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the most remarkable, adaptable, and independent folks found anywhere on this here old planet, and they's the people of Alaska. You see, Alaskans ain't a race, they're a breed, and I reckon that they're the guardians of America's last frontier spirit. Now, before any of you get to thinking, what the hell does Haywire Willie know about Alaskans? Know that I've been lucky enough to have been there a few times, and for a long, long time have been right proud to call a few Alaskans my friends. Not to mention that having raised a son in a trapper's cabin in Canada's far north for a spell, I have myself a real appreciation and first-hand knowledge of the life that many of them lead. First off, before I get to going too far, though, I feel it's right important to state that the indigenous peoples of Alaska proved real early on that they weren't savages as they were often depicted, but were great nations whose cultures and traditions were formed by the brutal realities of nature. And second, I acknowledge the gifts that they've shared with the world. You see, long before Europeans built vast civilizations, Alaska's native people survived and thrived in conditions that the others never dreamed of. They did it through cooperation and with communal participation. In fact, it was their way of life and the respect for the world around them that led to a whole heap of other men and women of other races, all owing them their lives. And third, a well-kept secret that many people just don't know is that Alaska is a healing state. And because it is, a great many souls became Alaskans in order to heal from horrible sicknesses. That's right, they become deathly ill from witnessing the perverse and the destitute. They almost went insane thinking about the state of humanity and how it treated the world around itself. They became constantly nauseous about the greed and corruption and could feel cancerous helplessness and hopelessness starting to grow within. They were sick of all the sights, sounds, and insanity. So to save their lives, and likely a heap of others, they packed up all their dreams, locked the doors, smiled, turned, and followed the Northern Star. Why? Well, because they wanted to hear honking geese, not honking Hondas, to breathe in clean air instead of skies filled with petrotoxin and the farts of a million people, because they needed to be free, not a two-legged rat in a concrete cage. They went because they wanted a chance to make their own mark, not to be a mark, and because they had the courage, fortitude, and strength to take destiny by the horns. Now, despite once being sick, it's real important to state that Alaskans ain't no weaklings. No, sir, far from it. In fact, they're incredibly strong. And that there's a right good thing because Alaska has absolutely no respect for excuses or the puny humans who make them and will rid itself of the weak and infirm in one hell of a hurry, for its beauty hides itself a killer. Its breathtaking landscapes have lured many an arrogant fool to where mountains send brilliant white blankets of death careening down slopes without warning, where vast forests cause folks to become hopelessly lost, and weather can change so suddenly and drastically that it can literally take breath away. And rugged realities ain't Alaska's only dangers, for among its vast reaches of wilderness dwell large numbers of very big and powerful critters that can and will tear a human right the hell to shreds. Therefore, Alaska ain't no place for wimps and or idiots, unless that is, they's fixing to commit suicide by nature. And Alaska is a place that's made a lot of people very, very rich. That said, in Alaska, rich is a relative term. For one sourdough, it's a big old pouch of gold. For another, it's frost-covered eyebrows at the ass end of a dog team. Still others consider steaming piles of moose meat to be wealth, and of course then there's those who reckon that the sight of the majestic scenery is a treasure that's simply beyond compare. Now, don't get yourself to thinking that all Alaskans are Grizzly Adams pumpkins, because they sure enough aren't. Nor are they all Eskimos or mad trappers. They're a very diverse group of folks who, to survive, have to be very intelligent, very intuitive, and most of all, very skilled. Oh, and very hardworking. Like I said, Alaskans ain't a race, they're a breed with a creed, and that creed is give me liberty or give me death. They're proud, independent people with hearts as big as the mountains around them and just as generous as its lakes and seas. They're helpful to a fault, but neither give nor take shit unless you stupidly stand between them and their dreams, at which time there's most certainly going to be some shit going down that you best be ready to deal with. Now, Alaskans often use few words, not because they have nothing to say, but because they feel it'd just be damn rude to interrupt the sensational symphony of life that's playing all around them. Their eyes are filled with stories, their minds are filled with adventure, and their spirits are filled with courage. Their friendships ain't rhetorical, their families ain't forgotten, and they ain't lost sight of the things that are truly important in life. The way that others folks treat them decides whether they extend them a hand or a fist, and like religious monks, they've transcended being concerned about the state of their bodies, likely because outside of baths, showers, and bed covers, they never see the darn things. Many of their best friends have more than two legs, and if their pets don't like you, neither will they. They read the weather like the daily news and have been known on occasion to snowshoe through blizzards just to fill up some church pews. They don't give two shits about anyone's sexual orientation unless it's unwantedly aimed at them, and they stay right the heck out of other folks' business, expecting others to do the same. Oh, and politically, them Alaskans is a whole different breed, too. You see, Alaska is one of the few states that still has itself an active independence party that's raring and ready to afford the lower 49 the opportunity to pucker up and kiss its ass if they don't smarten up. And it was the first place in the USA to ever elect a cat as mayor. Not just once, but again and again and again. Yep, the people of Alaska are folks living in the last American frontier. Free spirits who are willing to fight for their rights if they're forced to, but would rather sit and share a joke as they give their fire a poke. They found themselves a place to heal where things are kept real, and now are warm souls living in a cold world. Proud folks who traded city sights for northern lights to live where every hour is rush hour when it's 40 below. They live the way that they want to, in a real fine place, at their own pace, and far, far away from the big city rat race. As one old timer goes into the mine for the last time, another sick soul arrives to be healed by the wondrous magic and transformed into one of those amazing people of Alaska. You all come back now, you hear?